Hi, this is Nathan Wynn from Inomatic LLC. This video will be covering Vivo Picker Control. This is part of the PowerApps for Beginners series. I believe understanding the controls will help build a better foundation in learning PowerApps. This is the common practice for using Vivo Picker. You can search, select, and obtain the display name and the email. Now stay tuned at the end of the video where you get a sneak peek of a better practice for utilizing Vivo Picker and obtaining the contact for the selected individual. So let's get started. The Vivo Picker is really a combo box. If you select on this, you will see it is a combo box, and that can be obtained through the input and combo box here. Other than the X, Y, the width, and the height attributes that are common across all controls. These are the 5 attributes that are important to make this work. The item, which is the data list, often used Office 365 user, data connection. The input text placeholder, which is the hint text, you can see. The default selected item, which is the onload value. If you are to have a form where the form has this control, and upon load, you want the control to hold the data of the person that you selected and save. On change is upon making change to the selection, and fill is optional attribute where I want to highlight the control when it is empty and when it has some value not highlighted. So we're going to go one by one. The first thing we need to do is to establish the data connection to Office 365 user. I already have it here. Let's remove, add Office 365, click and connect. Now that connection is established. You go to the control, you go to item. In item, you specify the data connection name dot search user, open bracket, open curly bracket, search term, lowercase s, capital T, colon, cell. Cell is cell referencing, is this very specific control, dot search text, close the curly bracket and close the bracket. Now, if you test it out, you see all the individual within your Office 365 user. Now, in the event where the display name is not chosen, instead you see CD or other attributes, you can simply fix that by click on the control, go to the fields, edit here, and make sure display name is chosen. And the search field right now is also on the display name. If you would like the search field to look into the email address as well, because sometimes the short name for the email does not resemble the display name too much, and you know of the email, you can select the individual that way. So in here, you can say search field. Right now, it's just displayed name. Please note there is no email, just mail is the email. Now you're able to search by the displayed name and or the email address. Now let's see here. If I say Mina, I have Mina Wynn selected, and here's is her address. So how did I manage to get this information here? Go back to the control on the on change. I set 2 actions. One is the variable var POC name, where I set it to this control, selected, displayed name. I close the bracket and I do a semicolon to set another variable, var POC email, self-selected mail. And to display that information, I just put in the label control and I name it selected POC, and I put in selected user, and I concatenate with the POC name and its base and a / and the email address. If I clear this out, you see that selected user and the / but no email and name because nothing was selected. Now, if you would like to be fancy with label control, you can put in a condition so that it doesn't display this weird and not informative text. I comment that down and put in a condition. If the length of the POC name is 0, meaning none has selected, I would put non-selected in lieu of the select user and / Otherwise, meaning if there's values in this POC name variable, I would display selected user, and as we have it previously. Now let's test it out. Cindy, and you can see selected user Cindy Wynn. If I clear, non-selected. As for the hint text select POC, you can say here is called input text placeholder. You can change it anything. You can see that it's just giving people hints. This is alongside with the tooltip. You can see that. As for the highlight color, when we haven't selected anything, we can go to fill. Now, if self-selected is blank, then control fill color should be this yellow, otherwise display as just a white background, as you see here. when individual is selected, it is not blank and therefore it has a white background. Instead of clearing out the bubble by going to the control, I added the button here just to show you how to reset the control. All you have to do is type in reset and the control name. I named the bubble picker control, which is the combo box control, POC underscore search. So the POC underscore search. That's it. And so now if I select the person and I reset, it just clear out. The default selected item is the onload values and it's tricky. We are not pulling up a record or loading a form. And so I will try to simulate the onload by creating a button. I will name this onload btn. And on select, I just set the var POC email to my email address. So imagine you pull up a record, right? And you have the POC email column. I would imagine when you save the record, you would retain the display name and the email for notification purpose or for record purpose. So on load, I would like to set the variable to that email address. So when I click on load, things haven't changed here, but I know the variable is holding that email address. So in here, default selected item. As I mentioned, we cannot use default for combo box. It has to be default selected item. You have the following statement: the Office 365 user, which is the data connections, search user, search term, and you set the search term to that POC email. And now you see that it's pulling up Nathan Wynn. If I change the value, Nathan Wynn to Aiden, and I will rerun this, watch this right here, 1, 2, 3, Aiden Wynn. So that's you are mimicking the onload. You're setting values, default selections on this bubble picker. One of the issues using the bubble picker control as part of your form to pull up previously submitted personnel data is that the user has to remain an active O365 user. Otherwise, upon load, the email address is no longer valid, and therefore the default value won't be rendered. And for historical and archive purpose, the user must be and remain on the form as entered until we update. And for that, we need to have a better approach, which is shown here in version 2. Here, upon selection, the name and the email is saved, and the name is displayed in a text box control. And on change, it updates the data and re-render. So if you would like to see this approach here, please go to the next video, the link right below. Please remember to subscribe. And if you like what I do, please thumb up. And if you feel generous, buy me coffee, links right below. Thank you very much. See you on the next video.